What up and welcome back to the channel. I'm Bone. Last week I said we were doing a giveaway. This week we'll be announcing the winner. That'll be later on in the video. A few people did leave questions for me to ask, and Kane B asked if we could do the House of Krazees tier list because we haven't done a HOK tier list yet. So we're going to be doing that as well today. I appreciate everybody that's tuned in, that hit the like button, the comments, subscribed, and hit that bell. Thank you for doing that. Let's get into it. All right. Again, shout out to Kane B for throwing out the idea of doing the HOK tier list. If you haven't seen any of my other tier list videos, go check them out. They're right on the YouTube channel. I did ICP, Twisted, RLP, Psychopathic, M&E. I think I did Cottonmouth Kings, a whole bunch of videos. Go check them out. But today, we're doing HOK, and what better time to do it? They just recently reunited a few months ago. Let's get right into it. Home Sweet Home. Got to put it D tier. Not that great of an album. This is stuff they should have been recording and not releasing back in the day. This was like a practice, them warming up, practicing. The best song on there, my favorite song, is the title track. I love it. Love the sampling on there. They killed it on that song, but outside of that, not really. And then Homebound, kind of the same, but I'll put it C tier because you got songs like Homebound, Effects, the House of Krazees remix, which is much better than the original one. And because of that, you could tell that there was an improvement within HOK. The production, the flows and all that. I'll put it C tier because it is just, to me, better than Home Sweet Home. More listenable, if you will, than Homebound is. And then you got Bones and the Sons of Midnight, The Demon Inside, the first solo Bones project. And I'm going to put that B tier because it is a dope little EP. There's only 3 songs on it. And then you got an intro, an interlude, and an outro on it for a total of 6 tracks, but really only 3 songs. 2 of which, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Bones and Witch and Hour, would later be on the Sacrifice album. And then you had On the Run, which was the only song to ever feature the Sons of Midnight. But all those 3 songs on there are dope. It's just, I'll put it B tier because I don't go back to it that often. But when I do listen to it, it's a good listen, man. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Bones is classic Mr. Bones stuff. And a much improvement over Home Sweet Home and Homebound. Yes, it's just Bones by himself. No HOK on the project. And he doesn't even shout out Hectic in the shouts out towards the end. If you didn't know that little tidbit. Yeah. Or he did shout him out and he reversed it. Something like that. I forget. But yeah. And then we got Season of the Pumpkin. Automatic S tier. This is when they came into their sound. Still not fully developed, in my opinion, but a banger of an album. Love Season of the Pumpkin, man. Dark Images, Underground Culture, The Mask, Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat's one of my all-time favorite HOK songs. Portrait of a Killer, Call Us What You Want, Down, Drug Addict, Why. Love this project. We got a couple solo Mr. Bones songs on here, a couple ROC songs on here, and a solo Hectic song on there. There's 2 different versions, but both, doesn't matter which version, would be S tier. So I'm throwing it S tier. Classic album. When you think of Halloween, when you think of the fall season, you think of HOK's Season of the Pumpkin. It just goes, it's like peanut butter and jelly. It just goes together. And then Outbreed. The EP Outbreed, it's borders S tier. It's almost S tier, but I think I got to put it A tier. Banger of an EP. Call It What You Want. Deadly Pastimes, letting you know it. Those songs right there are so fire. It being like one of my all-time favorite HOK songs. Same with Call It What You Want. But it is like one of their best wicked shit songs. I love it. It's super haunting, evil, dark. ROC's production on this album's dope. I think Hectic did a beat on here, which is credited to him. But like I said, borders S tier, but not quite. Gotta put it A tier because it is a banger. And, one of my favorites, just not quite S tier. Same with Mr. Bones' Sacrifice, his first full-length solo project. Sacrifice is a dope album. Love it. Just super horrorcore, wicked shit, stabby, crazy wicked shit from Mr. Bones. Songs like Liquid Friend, Why the Children, Sacrifice, Exorcist. That song right there, one of the just best HOK related songs, in my opinion. I don't know the samples on most of this album, but that Exorcist song is fire. Burn the Bodies is another crazed one. Same with Insomnia. The HOK song, that is on the album. Mr. Bones' Sacrifice is dope. And I was going to say, I wish we had a remastered version of it, but we do. They put that out, 15 years ago? I forget what tour that was for. Maybe, was it Independence Day? I don't think so. Somewhere 2010, something like that. They put out the remastered version of Sacrifice, and it's a fucking banger, man. Love that album. And then we got my personal favorite HOK album, Head Trauma. I'm putting it above Season of the Pumpkin. I know a lot of people would put probably Season of the Pumpkin first, but I gotta put Head Trauma above it. I love that album. It was the second album I heard from HOK. Season of the Pumpkin being the first one that I heard. And although this album doesn't really have much wicked shit on it outside of Paranoid, Nosferatu, and Head Trauma, but it's just a banger of an album, more of a hip hop feel. I think they were just trying to prove to people in Detroit at the time, hey, we could really do this. We could really rap, and they could. Mr. Bones sounded great on this album. Same with ROC. Loved ROC's production on this album. It's just March. Slip Into Reality, which features, Hectic's verse is the verse that he ended up spitting as Monoxide on renditions of Reality on Most Tasteless. Dope song. Don't Follow Me is a banger. I love that beat. Hypno, R.I.P., The House, Head Trauma. Love all those songs, but really every song on this album is a fucking banger. And I got to put it number one above anything else. This is the album I revisit most when I do revisit HOK stuff. The ROC Exposed, I'm probably going to put that B tier, and I'm going to put it above The Demon Inside. The ROC Exposed is a dope project. I think I liked it more back in the day than I do now, but I still vibe out to it. There are a couple songs that I skip on here, but songs like Pain in the Chamber, Outrage, Bad Man, Intro to My Clique, Exposure, the title track, love all those songs. And even the ones that I do skip, all the other songs are strong enough for me to put it B tier. Again, more of a hip-hoppy kind of album. Not really diving into the wicked shit too much. A little bit, but not a lot. Similar with Head Trauma. But I'll put it B tier. I think back in the day, I probably would have put it S or A tier. But I think now, as time has gone by, I think B tier is fair for Exposed. And then we got Collector's Edition 97, also known as Remix and Rewind. Kind of like a Greatest Hits album, but it was remixes and songs that they redid for this EP. And I think it's dope. Because, like I said, it's kind of like a Greatest Hits project, but not. Because you got a complete rework of Home Sweet Home. You got a complete rework of The Mask, Outbreed, Call It What You Want. The House, Nosferatu Week. Like a lot of these songs were just completely redone. Homebound, Effects, same beats. Maybe they redid the beats, but like basically the same beat, but just done better in 97. You know, this is like right before they broke up. It split off and Twisted went to Psychopathic and ROC ended up doing The House and later House of Krazees and Half Breed. But because it is like a greatest hits type project, even though it's a banger, I'll put it B tier because it's nothing new. And the remix of Nosferatu is like much better than the OG one that appeared on Head Trauma. And I fuck with the OG one on Head Trauma, but that remix, that's like one of the rare cases where a remix is better than the OG. The Night They Came Home. This was after Hectic and Bones left and went and formed Twisted, signed to Psychopathic. It was Soul and Scraps. ROC had changed his name to Soul, and they put this project out, and I think this is a sleeper of an album, and I got to put it A tier. I don't think I could put it quite above Outbreed, but it's right there. And this is another album that kind of borders S tier, to be honest. It's a banger of an album, man. I know it's not the Dirty Trio, but songs like Feelin' Dead, Come and Get Me, Adrenaline, just fire. ROC's production on here was dope. I think Scraps did a beat on here too. Slept On. I know a lot of people, you know, joke and say that this is like the first Half Breed album, but man, they killed it on here. Loved Night They Came Home, and it's 100% A tier, possibly S tier, along with Outbreed. I put Casket Cuts on here only because HOK doesn't have that many albums, but I'll put it B tier just because it's like a greatest hits album. They did release 2 new songs on this album that had never been released before, House Up on the Hill and Reluctant Strain. And those both sounded like they were recorded probably like Homebound, maybe Season of the Pumpkin era. So yeah, because it's like a greatest hits project, but because of the 2 new songs as well, I'll put it B tier because I mean, a greatest hits HOK album, you can't go wrong. B tier. And then their newest album, reuniting after almost 30 years, and it was the 31st anniversary, right? It was like 28 years since the last album, 31 years since they formed House of Krazees. The album 31, and I'm going to put it S tier. It might be too soon to put it S tier, but I think this is a banger of an album. ROC's production on here was fire. Hectic is like completely different. Like if I didn't know better and you played me something from Head Trauma from Hectic and then played a verse from him off 31, I would say that is not the same person, you know? So much improved. All 3 of them, really, so much improved. And the album is a banger. But I think nostalgia-wise, Head Trauma and Home Sweet or Season of the Pumpkin are just going to hold those top 2 spots. Like, 31 is dope as much as I love it. It was my favorite rap album of 2024. I just don't, at least not yet. Like, who knows? Maybe one day it could beat Season of the Pumpkin, Head Trauma, or maybe maybe it'll go down to A tier one day. But for today, I'll put it S tier because I love that album, man. I played the shit out of it. Still listen to it now. I mean, it's only been out a few months, so saying, you know, I'm still listening to it is kind of funny, but is what it is. Shit to Make Your Ears Bleed. Kind of like another greatest hits album, but it's like a collection of songs that they had put out over the last, say, decade. Maybe 7-8 years, something like that. You know, on the Songs of Sam Hain albums, songs that were like on Twisted projects or whatever. They finally grouped them all, put them all together for this compilation, and it's dope. You know, I would have put Post-Apocalyptic Word on this tier list, but all the songs are on this project, so there's really no need to put Post-Apocalyptic Word. I'd probably still put it B tier regardless. The only thing is I wish that they had put Curse of the Jack-O-Lantern on Shit to Make Your Ears Bleed. That's the only song that's missing on this compilation, and maybe they didn't put it on here because it had a Boondocks feature on it, and none of these songs have a feature from anybody. Maybe they were just trying to keep it strictly HOK like the 31 album was. But regardless, B tier. I mean, songs like Need to Feed, Wash, Asylum, Death for Anyone, Mother Witch, Night They All Died. You know, that was on Chainsmoker too, but regardless, banger of a song. B tier without a doubt. And I'll put it above Collector's Edition and Casket Cuts. And then you got the remix album, I Love 31. Never heard it. I probably will listen to it at some point just to be curious and see what, other people's takes were. But usually 99.9% of the time, the original of a song is better than a remix. So haven't heard it yet. I probably will listen to it at some point. But yeah, that's my tier list. I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to do a tier list yourself. Feel free to do it. Or just let me know in the comments below how you would rank, what would be your list of the House of Krazees albums. And on last week's video, like I said, I told people to leave questions. Got a few questions that people want to know. Ryan Sanders and H. Nieto, 1982. I don't know if I'm saying that right. They both asked, album or artist that you're most looking forward to this year. And I thought about it, and really, I just take music as it comes. It doesn't matter from who. I no longer, or at least the last couple years, I've kind of stopped with the hype of anticipation and getting myself excited for an album because there's that chance I might be disappointed. It is just better to not have expectations or anything like that for an album. So unfortunately, I don't have an answer. I mean, I guess that is the answer, but like, I just take it as it comes, man. Either the album is going to be good or the album is not going to be good. And, name the artist, ICP, Twisted, Ouija, Buckshot, Esham, fucking whoever, ROC, ABK, Blaze, whatever. They put an album out, I'll check it. Either it's good or it's not, I'm not having expectations for an album. Zool's finally putting out their new album. No expectations. No, I hope this. Either it's going to be good or it's going to be not. Or it's not going to be. The Twisted Rock album, same thing. If ICP actually releases the 6th, it's either going to be good or it's not. No expectations. But thank you guys for the question. JR Jaubert. What do you think the major independent labels need to do to stay interesting, entertaining, and relevant for the next 5 to 10 years? I think they need to really A&R this shit. If people are going to sign to labels like these, the major indies, Psychopathic, M&E, Strange Music, they really need to build these artists up as much as they can. And it always seems like an artist will plateau at these labels. And I don't know if it's because there is a hypothetical ceiling of like, hey, you can't pass Tech 9. You can't be bigger than Tech 9 here at Strange Music, or you can't be bigger than ICP here at Psychopathic. Same with Twisted at M&E. Or it's just that the fans aren't resonating with the music, or they're just not checking for new music. They know what they want. They want just ICP, Twisted, Tech 9, and they don't want nothing else. Old heads be stuck in old head mentality. I'm always welcoming of new music and supporting new artists. But either it's the fans not accepting new music or just not resonating with the music, and the labels need to find better artists to build, or the artists need to get the fuck out of the way. The top artists need to get the fuck out of the way for these new artists and just build them up. And if they get bigger, so be it. It helps everybody. It helps the label to have an artist be bigger than whoever. So in order to stay interesting, one, put out good music. Get the fuck out of the way of the new up-and-comers. If they get bigger than you on your own label, so be it. And squash any and all beefs. You know, there's tons of money being left on the table because of stupid, petty bullshit. Flintos asks, what all Project Born CDs do you own? I own Born Dead, the OG. It's technically a reissue, but it's the OG Born Dead EP, and I own Crapper Natural. Those are the only two Project Born CDs that I own. And here they are just for you to see them. Born Dead, Crapper Natural. These are the two Project Born CDs that I do own. Both are bangers. I'd probably go with Crapper Natural being better. Like this right here, this album is like some 95, 96... old school Dayton family type vibes on this album. Love the production. It's very raw. Like you could tell they weren't working with the best recording equipment at that time, but it's a banger of an album. And those are the two CDs I own. And then the last question from So Ancient asked, what's your favorite track on Dark Half's Graveyard Blues? And I got to go Toxidermy or Forgive Me. Might give it to Forgive Me. Rest in peace, Gino. Hope Damian Quinn's doing good. But like that Forgive Me song is just so fucking good. I think that's a lot of people's favorite song off that album. But Toxidermy with ROC and Mastermind, like that hook from Gino is insane. They all killed their verses on there. Just classic, like wicked shit mosh pit music, that song right there. So those two songs right there. I might give it to Forgive Me, depending on my mood. But yeah. Forgive Me, Toxidermy, both bangers. All right, now the moment everybody is waiting for. We had 46 entries into the giveaway this time. We got the box right here. I will try to get in touch with the winner, whoever's name gets drawn on this wheel right here. If you see your name, reach out to me via email or any of my social media pages so I can get your address. I will get it shipped out to you. Good luck to everybody. Thank you for participating in the giveaway. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit that bell noti. And the winner of the giveaway is going to Wes 1717. Wes, hit me up for your address, and I will try to get in touch with you as well and get this box shipped out to you this week. Again, thank you to everybody that participated. Much fucking love. We out. Until next time. Peace.